Hi guys, welcome back. Alright, so I know that loads of you have it. Sorry, excuse me, I have a bit of a rough throat thing going on, so my voice is a little bit husky at the moment. That's Hamatan for you. It does all kinds of crazy things to your body. But anyway, yes, so loads of you have been asking me how much we paid for the cost of our solar inverter. So what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to give you a price breakdown, but actually when I looked back at the invoice that I got from SPS, so the company that we used to get the solar panels from, or the whole inverter system, was called SPS, okay? And when I looked at the invoice, when I revisited the invoice just now, I was like, it's actually not very easy to break down the cost, because the invoice that they give you doesn't specifically say, okay, say like you've bought, we've got 18 panels. It doesn't say 18 panels cost blah 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 blah. They've rather done it according to the watts, I think it is. I don't know. But anyway, it's not an easy one, but I'm going to try my best to give you the main things. So I think the main things that we have is the cost of the panels, the cost of the inverter itself, and the batteries, okay? So I'm going to do my best to break down the price for you. So bear with me, because this is definitely not my area of expertise, but I'm going to try my best to break it down so you guys can understand. But I have to say that we actually got a quote from SBS. It's probably been about a year now. It's probably been about a year ago. So it's taken us a while to actually get there, because you know we had some delays with trying to get the house to the level that it's at so that the solar panels could actually sit on it. So that's what kind of caused the delay in between getting the quote and obviously having everything installed. But usually that wouldn't happen. And I just have to say, with SPS, when you pay for your stuff, it's 70% up front and 30% after installation. And that's pretty standard with everything here, actually. Everything in Ghana is pretty much like that. They want 70% up front, and then the last 30% you pay once the work is finished. And once you're happy with everything, then you put it down. But anyway, I know loads of you are like, what's she talking about? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, and get to the point. Okay, so, right. So the whole inverter system as a whole came to around 50,000 cedis. Okay, so 50,000 cedis right now is how much? It's just under $10,000, I think. Hold on, wait. Before I just make a boo-boo here. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen. Okay, so it's around, I think it's around $50,000. Sorry, around $10,000. Under 10,000. It's about $8,000. That's off my head. It's about $8,000, something like that. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen. Yes, so that's how much it costs. But if I show you here, okay, so it says the solar PV modules. Okay, it says the price was 1,900 and something. Okay, so and it says the quantity is 5. Now I don't really understand why it says the quantity is 5. I guess it's going by the kilowatts, I think. Okay, so the amount comes to 9,800 and something, just under 10,000 for the panels themselves. For the batteries, now it says the price was 1,798, but it says the quantity is 9.6, and the amount was 17,260. So do you see what I'm trying to say? It was like, it's not an easy thing to break down, even though I have the quote in front of me here. It's not an easy thing to break down. Okay, and then we have the mounting structures, which came to 2,300 or so. I'm giving you rough digits, these are not exact figures. But if I can, I'll put this on the screen so you can see it for yourself. But anyway, there was a whole lot. There's insulation, the cables, battery fuse, there's a whole load of other things. The inverter itself was just over 7,000. The inverter itself was just over 7,000 cedis. So I think that's probably about right, because the first inverter we had, which was actually, we thought it was a 3 kVA for the longest time, but it was actually a 2 kVA, which we have downstairs. And I think we paid in the region of about 3,000 cedis for that, I believe. And that was years ago. So I think 7,000 for a 5.5 is not so bad. But yeah, so far, it's been really good to us. I'll just show you. In fact, let me just take. Okay, so this is the inverter system that we got. So this is the 5.5. 5.5 kVA, and then we have our 2 lithium batteries here. I did explain before, the reason that we went for lithium is because you can use the full capacity of the battery, so it lasts a lot longer for us. The gel batteries were just, that we have downstairs, just no good. They lasted us for probably about 4 or 5 years, which is probably, some people say that's pretty good lifetime for them. But the fact that you can only use 50% capacity, I think it's not so great. So I know loads of you had tons of questions about the inverter system that we're using. You wanted to know if this can actually power our whole house. Well, we did a little experiment the other day, and what we did was we put on all the lights, all the fans, everything on the full, everything was on, and we left it running overnight just to see if the inverter would, like, it would overload. And it didn't. It lasted all the way through the night. And I must say, that day the weather was a little bit patchy. It wasn't that great, so there wasn't like loads and loads of sun. So we just really wanted to test to make sure that everything could work. And we've been using it fully since, and we've had absolutely no issues at all with it. Everything was able to run. I mean, so that's having all 4 bedrooms with the lights left on overnight, plus having the fans all the way up to the highest speed, and just everything basically. So
yeah, apart from those, if they're everything, it sounds like you're saying air conditioning.
Oh yeah, no. We have not put, we haven't put the ACs onto the inverter system. We did consider it actually, but we decided to go against it because we just did. We decided to go against it, but we may later on, excuse me. Woo! Anyway, so we may later on put one onto the inverter system if it can handle it, but we're not sure yet. We'll see. That's something we'll look into later. But for now, the 5.5 that we have, absolutely perfect for what we want. We're not like saying, oh, you know what, let's be careful, let's not turn everything on. We're literally fully functioning on the whole load. I mean, when we were downstairs, even though downstairs was a 2-bedroom, I mean, and that was a 2 kVA, that would last us through the night until the battery started getting ruined. But that would last us through the night. So this, for us, is like, I mean, there's not much else that we put on it. So having going from a 2 kVA to a 5.5 is, I mean, it's been more than enough for us. But what we intend to do is when we go onto the next floor, to have a separate one up there. Because initially we were thinking about getting one 10 kVA system to run the whole house from top to bottom, but then we decided to change our minds, and we thought, actually, you know what, because obviously double the cost. If we paid 50, that means, you know, getting a 10 kV is probably going to be a region of 100,000. That was just going to be way beyond our budget. It's just going to get crazy. Let me come out of here because it's kind of hot in there. So the reason that we, like I said, the reason that we decided not to go for the 10 kV is because the price would have just been too crazy, and trying to pay 70% of that up front was just going to be just way too much, way beyond our budget. So we had to cut back a little bit. So we decided to go for 2 systems. So we'll have one that will run this whole floor, and then for the next floor, we'll probably get another one that will run that floor as well. So the way that the system has been set up is that the capacity that the panels can, what am I trying to say?
I don't know, tell me.
I mean, I've lost ball.
The panels,
yes.
Yeah,
so
okay, 5 kV, you're trying to convert the 5 kV.
So the panels can absorb enough sun to power the batteries. That's what I'm trying to say.
To charge the batteries?
Yeah, to charge the batteries, yes, to charge the batteries. Because, I mean, I think you can get over. So if you wanted to have more panels, I think you can put on. But this is matched to the batteries. Because someone was asking me in the comments, and they said, did I get the capacity of the panels to be able to feed up, no, something like that. Anyway. Okay, no,
I think what they're trying to say is that, is there enough solar to feed the 5 kV capacity? But it's not. The solar charges just the batteries, and the batteries last enough throughout the night. So it obviously.
So the 2 batteries are enough.
Yeah, but it only goes up to, I think the batteries is a duration of a certain amount of hours, about 4 kV. So if you exceed 5 kV, it will burn out quicker. About 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you spread it all on just that with 5 kVA and continuously on the battery, it only lasts you for 4 hours, and then you run it flat. But yeah, so we're not exceeding over 5 kVA. It's less.
In fact, I feel like the 5 kVA is even probably too much for us at this point,
to be honest.
because we're not using a lot. It's literally lights, fans, and anything that we plug in.
Yeah.
That's more or less it.
An oil-based LED.
Yeah. And the batteries charge very fast, so usually in the mornings when we wake up, but you can look, there's actually, when you look on the screen of the inverter, it shows you when the batteries are full up. So by like 11 or so o'clock, the batteries are full already. So everything else is just like bonus, you know. They just remain full until we're ready to use them.
That's why I said that you can actually put on air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can put on air conditioning during the day, and then at night you just turn it off. Yeah.
We could do, but we haven't done that.
No.
So one of you mentioned that the system that we have is not off-grid, and that we've made a mistake saying that it's off-grid. It is in fact off-grid. Just because one part of our house is run on ECG, it's not flowing through the inverters, therefore our inverter is off-grid. There is no ECG at all flowing through the inverter system. That means the inverter system is off-grid. Okay, they're two separate things, so please don't confuse that.
Yeah, why did we choose that? Because remember, we weren't going to get a hybrid system, so why did we choose that?
Okay, the reason we decided to go for the off-grid and not the hybrid system is because we just felt ECG just fluctuates too much, and we've had ECG going through, we've had a hybrid system before, and honestly speaking, it just damaged our inverter system over time. And so once we were able to repair our inverter system, we said, now let's not put it on the ECG again. And since doing that, we never had any issues with our inverter again. So we just felt like it was better to have the whole thing off grid. Even though you can put a stabilizer onto the whole thing, we just felt, because we've invested so much money into it, that we just didn't want to just take any chances with it. And that was the reason for it, basically. So
yeah, and being self-reliant. We don't need government to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Harness of the sun.
I think like right now it's Hamatan, so the sun is even a bit down, and we're still doing okay with the inverter. So that says it. I mean, inverter system, it just needs a lot of maintenance. So, well, it doesn't need a lot of maintenance. In terms of, you just every now and again you have just wipe down the solar panels, just because the Hamatan is so thick, the dust can sometimes block some of the sun. So you just wash it down basically. Just get a hose pipe, wash it over it, and you're good to go. Okay, now another thing that you guys have said is that the cost of running a solar is more expensive than ECG, so why would you go for solar? The reason that we went for solar is because ECG is so unstable, and also the fact that the light off situation is just sometimes you go for periods where everything is fine, and then there's periods where it just goes off like that. And honestly speaking, when you have a solar system, sometimes you don't even realize when there's light off. We don't even realize sometimes. We're like, oh, was it light off? Like we're completely oblivious to the fact that there's light off sometimes. So this for us is more about self-reliance and all of that. We just don't want to be.
But it's cost effective.
Well, this is the thing. They were saying that in order to get your money back from investing in solar, it would cost you so many years. So technically, it's cheaper to just have ECG. That's what the person.
No, because if I disagree.
Why?
Because reason why is that even though you spent out its duration of years,
they said that,
remember your fridge, TVs, all these things get damaged if fluctuations go wrong.
Yes, they do. That's a very good point.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It is. So those things, those things
lights,
add up. Yeah.
all of that.
Because the first time that if you guys have been watching me for a while, you will maybe remember when our fridge got knocked out, and that was because our fridge was on ECG and it just went kaput. Even though our fridge is still on ECG at the moment.
Yeah,
but we have a fridge guard.
The fridge guard. It had a fridge guard on it.
No, it didn't have a fridge guard.
Oh, okay.
It didn't. But we have a fridge guard on it now, just to be careful of the thing. And we did have let me just say something, right? We did buy a stabilizer through SPS, but we've chosen to return it because it did not suit what we needed it for. Our electrician went to try and install it. Hello. Our electrician went to try and install it and realized that it wouldn't handle what we needed it to handle. So we decided to get individual stabilizers for each of the major appliances that we have, that we want to have on store on ECG, and we've left it at that. Because we just didn't need it basically. And what else?
Remember, like, this stuff lasts for years. It's like, I don't think you're gonna change it if it's consistently as we're doing. It could last for 10 years.
What can?
The batteries, everything.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm expecting it to last longer than that.
Yeah, the batteries. I'm not talking about the solar.
Okay.
I'm not talking about as for the solar, 25 years, and the inverter is the same. But I'm talking about the battery. Yeah, so you do have a big savings in it when you look at it. I
think the battery would even last longer than 10 years.
Yeah, well,
because if we had the gel batteries and the gel batteries ran out, like they only started going like around, we've had it for around 4 or 5 years before they started going like bad. I think with the lithium ones, I think we should be much better. And the reason the other ones went bad is because the capacity couldn't last so long after a period of time. And so therefore now we were starting to, you're only supposed to use 50% capacity, we were using over 50% because they were just not weak. They were weak, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing that we were asked is, why did we go for solar instead of a generator? The main reason that we didn't go for a generator was because, one, the noise. And two, I feel like it's not very cost effective as well, because every time you have to keep going and buying petrol or diesel or whatever to put inside it. The maintenance costs for a generator are a lot higher than for solar as well. And to be honest with you, if the light goes off in the middle of the night, I ain't going outside to turn on no generator, trust me.
I know, Kwame will.
Yeah, Kwame will be doing it, and then he'll be complaining at me that why does he have to go all the time and blah, blah, blah. So for the sake of argument, we decided to go for solar to save our marriage. Do you see? So yeah, so for that reason, solar also is better in terms of carbon footprint as well. So solar, it was just solar for the win, really. Even though generator is a lot cheaper, I just feel like it's just too much. I know so many people have had problems with their generators. Trying to get someone to fix it who actually doesn't know what they're doing is another thing. It's just like, a generator is not something, it's not a plug and play. You're not just gonna have a generator and not have to do anything with it once you've set it up. You're gonna have to do regular maintenance costs of it and all of that. And so for me, it's a no. It's a no, basically. But yeah.
Computer says no.
It says no. It says no. Yeah. So you know. Yeah, really. That's why. Yeah. But anyway, guys, without making this video any longer, I'm going to end it there. I hope I've answered most of your questions. I tried to go through the previous videos to see what questions were asked, and I hope I've answered the questions. So yeah. So the solar basically was in the region of 50,000 cedis, not dollars, cedis. And for us, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. So that's what we've decided to go for. But anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button for me and the notification bell, and like this video so more people get to see it. I'd appreciate it very much. Until next time, I am out. Naughty Papa.